Another topic you emphasize is belonging as an important ingredient to our soil. And you've also described how not quite belonging has been such an important part of your journey and has led you to experience more belonging. And I'd love to hear you elaborate on that.
I was just meeting with a group of college students yesterday, and it was such a gift after I got over the fact that they were all born halfway through the Bush administration. And they asked such bold questions. But there was also a tendency I felt among them, and I've seen this in other contexts as well, to almost think of belonging as a possession, a thing you deserve to have. And if it's not given to you, it is some form of injustice or oppression because you haven't been included. And that fails to acknowledge that belonging is something that we create for each other, that it takes work, that it is a process of growth and intimacy and vulnerability. For those of us who claim in some way to follow Jesus, for those of us who have the audacity to call ourselves Christians, God enters the equation. And look, I'm going to say things that might make people think that I've figured this stuff out. But what I'm telling you is what I'm trying to live into, not what I've already done. If we truly believe that we belong to God, a God who loves us wholly and unconditionally and graciously and tenderly, which I think is pretty solid Christian theology, isn't that the belonging, the relational space that should give us the capacity to create belonging for other people who are made in the image of God? Isn't that the belonging that truly is given to us, that we then extend to others? Why is it that so often I look for belonging without extending it to others? Why do I demand it but not offer it? I think that's the trap I often fall into. It's very human. Will you include me first and then I'll include you? And it turns out that's not how it happened in God's economy. That's not the structure that Jesus laid out for us. And that creates an obligation. And I don't use that word in a bad way. I think sometimes we think of duty as a negative, but duty can be a form of love. I think duty is a really underrated form of love. And maybe it is our duty as people who claim to be Christian to create belonging for other people.
You are so right. In our epidemic of loneliness, it almost has made people feel entitled to belonging. Like, I don't have that. I'm lonely. And it's like something people are looking for, not to offer, but to find and join. Or as your college student said, no, I should just have it. It should just be. I'm in college. I'm in a dorm. I should belong. And I think that is one of the deepest sadness and terror for freshmen is like, I thought I would go and be in a dorm and I would have a place of belonging. But you have to work that.
You get to create a place of belonging.
Yes.
You get to feed other people. You get to ask them questions. You get to learn about their lives. And then together, you get to create a place of belonging. It doesn't just happen. You can't go to Walmart and buy it. You can't go anywhere and buy it because belonging that's bought isn't real. So that's one of the conundrums in a society that is so consumer driven. We have forgotten how to live as neighbors because we constantly live as consumers.